of the most powerful, best sounding, and quickest SUVs to ever exist is the Dodge Durango. Today, we're gonna go back in time and find out just how this car that was built like a Beetle became a car that was built like a bazooka. I'm Micah, welcome to Rev-Life. This story starts back in the Dizzy, where at the time you had stuff like the Chevy Tahoe and the Ford Explorer
running the market.
People absolutely loved the comfortability and the size of these vehicles and how much you could actually do with them. You had space for all of your kids and all the crap in the trunk. So in 1998, Dodge replaced the Ram Charger with a brand new car. Now this brand new car was actually just a Dodge Dakota, but lengthened and thickened. This is because the Dodge Durango was built on the same platform as the Dodge Dakota. So, of course, they shared many of the same attributes. The main one, of course, being that they look exactly alike, which wasn't a bad thing. Back in the day, this thing looked pretty slick. Now, this Generation 1 Durango was designed in a very retro styling way. First off, the fenders were lower than the hood, which was the same recipe for the Dodge Dakota. It had flared fenders like the retro cars before, but a curved windshield to bring it back to present day. And this thing looked pretty dang special, especially when you compare it to the Chevy and the Explorer at the time. This thing looked like a whole new beast, and I think that's what people really loved about it. Now, this first-gen Durango came with a V6 or a variety of V8s and had the highest towing capacity in its class. Now, the most popular option was the 5.2-liter Magnum V8, but there was also a 5.9-liter Magnum V8 in the RT version, which produced roughly 245 horsepower and 300 foot-pounds of torque, which was a lot. Again, this engine was the fastest in its class, so this thing had the highest towing capacity and the best engine in its class, and it sounded amazing. And if this car wasn't cool enough, they teamed up with Shelby to make the limited edition SP360 version, which offered a supercharged version of the 5.9-liter Magnum V8. This thing pushed about 360 horsepower and 412 foot-pounds of torque. This thing came standard with a Viper blue paint with a 0 to 60 in about 7.1 seconds. Now, this car had a brand new body style, some better suspension, big old brakes, and it was just literally the peak of imagination. Every kid wanted it. I wasn't alive then, but if I was, I probably would have wanted it. And I actually want one now. The top speed was also 142 miles an hour, which, again, at the time, this is the 90s, ladies and gentlemen. Start freaking out, please. Moving on to the second generation in 2004, which, by the way, is when I was born. Aaron Pizzuti decided it was time for a proper reimagination and redesign on the Dodge Durango. Now, this revised Durango was literally Mr. Incredible. It was bigger and stronger and badder, but it still looked like the previous generation. It had like the same front styling, had the same grille, and of course had the same Durango flow. But with this car being bigger and badder, it now competed with the other full-size SUVs on the market. At the time, of course, being the Chevy Tahoe and the Ford Explorer, for example. Like I said before, this thing got some massive power upgrades, that being in the form of the brand new iconic engine, the Hemi. Now, from 04 to 08, the Hemi produced 335 horsepower and 370 foot-pounds of torque. Now, later on, Dodge was able to tune it up to get around 360 horsepower and 401 foot-pounds of torque, which at the time was unheard of, especially in an SUV. Now, the Durango has always been known for being just as good on a paved road as it was on a dirt road, but Dodge wanted to go one step further. So, they introduced the Limited and Adventurer trims, which improved the luxury of one and the off-roading capabilities of the other. Now, buying this Durango was a no-brainer. You got a better car for less money. It was perfect. And in 2007, this car received a facelift. This included a newly redesigned hood, electronic stability control, a tire pressure monitoring system, rear park assist, and a one-touch turn signal. But even though this car was crushing at the time, bad news was around the corner. By the end of 2008, the demand for the big SUV decreased, and in October, the Newark assembly plant, which was where the Durango was being built, was shut down. The world's financial crisis hit the big SUV market the most. Now again, this car was sick and sleek and fast and powerful, but it just wasn't able to make it in the current market. So of course, Dodge took a little bit of a hiatus. That being until 2013, where the next generation of the Durango would be revealed. Now once again, this Durango got a complete redesign by Aaron Pizzuti. This new Durango came with a more aggressive and muscular styling. In a word, it simply looks tough, which at the time is exactly what the car market needed. If you look at any other SUV at the time, none of them looked tough, like they wanted to fight you and steal your money. The Dodge Durango did, and I think people liked that a lot. It also offered tons of different customization. Now this car came stock with a 3.6 liter V6 Pentastar engine, pushing around 290 horsepower and 258 foot-pounds of torque. In 2014, Dodge also put a 5.7 liter V8 Hemi in this car, pushing a whopping 360 horsepower and 391 foot-pounds of torque. But with Dodge being Dodge, that wasn't enough horsepower, so in 2018, they introduced the 6.4 liter V8 Hemi, which pushed 475 horsepower and 470 foot-pounds of torque. Oh yeah, and by the way, the SRT, not the Hellcat, just the SRT has a 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds. What? But it's Dodge, so that's still not enough. So in 2021, they made the SRT Hellcat Durango, which had a 6.2 liter V8 supercharged Hemi with 710 horsepower and 645 foot-pounds of torque, which is way too much foot-pounds of torque, way too much horsepower for a mom car. But it's also awesome, and I would love to own one of these one day. Now, these new Durangos are sick, specifically the Hellcat and SRT variants. These cars are super aggressive, and they look like a Charger was just pulled upwards, and I love it. It looks amazing. So Dodge, if you're watching this video, hit me up. Let's do a little combination. Let's do a little crossover. Hit me up. Let me know. The suspension can also be completely customized to whatever fits your needs. Whether that is a street mode or a track mode, it is fully customizable, which makes the customers even more happy and makes me happy. Either way, this car is amazing because it fits literally anybody's needs. If you don't want a massive V8 to tear up the streets, you can get the smaller V6 package and be a happy camper. This car is amazing. I love it, and you should too. These Durangos are sick and are definitely my favorite SUVs to this day. Again, like I said before, I'm not going to own one of these because I'm, broke, but I would love to see one in person. With that being said, let me know what you guys want to see next in the comments section below. If you guys enjoy this video and want to see more like it, make sure to hit that subscribe button and that like button on the way out. And let me know what your thoughts are on the Dodge Durango. Did it live up? Did it fall off? What do you think? Thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.